Hey guys, I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know that Surewinder is still selling amazing products. Some of you guys have been dragging your feet for whatever reason. If your shoulder hurts, do not waste time. Pull the trigger. I just bought 4 or 5 of them, and we had 2 guys out. You know how much it cost me to pay for 2 guys being out with bad shoulders? We just pulled the trigger and we said, listen, everybody's going to have one on a truck. It's mandatory. You got to use it. Don't hesitate. Don't wait till your guys go down. It's going to cost you more. Buy a Surewinder.
What's up, Tamara?
Hey, Ryan. I'm glad you're back.
I'm glad to be back. So I went to Costa Rica, got back Saturday, June 24th. I was gone for a week. We went Saturday to Saturday, and the trip was like really fun. It's so it's kind of like a GDU for marketing agencies.
Mm-hmm.
It's where I get fed to learn about running a marketing agency, and there's lots of experienced people in there. But every year they have an event in Costa Rica because the people who organize it are from Nicaragua, and they bring in some amazing speakers, and then we get some pool time, and it's an all-inclusive resort, so you get free food, and it's great. It was a great time of relaxation, chilling, and my favorite part about the whole thing is, like, I don't think Stephanie and I split up the entire time. So, like, the year before, she stayed at the pool while I went to the educational classes.
Mm-hmm.
This year, she was by my side, like, the whole time. We stayed in the educational classes together. We went to the pool together. We hung out in the room together. That was great. And so it was just a special time with my wife. And, she's never really shown a ton of interest in like the business side of things as far as like learning and being involved in conferences and stuff like that. So it was really nice to have her there doing that with me. So that was probably the highlight of that trip. But
Awesome.
I got to learn a lot. Got a little tan.
You do look tan.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, sexy, and I know it. Just kidding. So we've got a couple updates we're going to do before we jump into the show. First things first. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm doing trainings monthly, sales trainings for door salespeople and service professionals. We are about to close the July 13th and 14th residential new door sales training here in Atlanta at our office. So if you're interested in that, make sure you sign up for it. We'll be closing that this week, the time that you're listening to that. So we'll be closing it at the end of this week. Isn't that right, Tamara?
Yes, that's right. Correct.
And so you can just you can register 1, 2, whatever. It is $1,000, but as you can see when you go on the page, like there's testimonies, you're going to make that back in 1 week. The information I'm going to give you is going to help you close more jobs, help you close higher jobs, and make more profit. So I've been blessed to have sat in on many different types of sales trainings and kind of critique and create my own. And it's been extremely effective. So if you're interested in that, go to garagedooru.com. You can click the button that says sales training, and it'll take you to the page. You can choose the dates. The next one after July is August. Is going to be for service professionals. So that's August 10th and 11th. And then we have September 7th and 8th and October 5th and 6th. So if you're interested, go there, check it out. There's videos from testimonies of people who have attended the training. And we've got some text messages I've received with some incredible testimonies. So check that out. We also have Garage Door U coming up, the summit, and that is September 12th through the 15th, 13th to the 15th.
12th, yeah. I mean, technically 12th.
Yeah. And so if you are interested in attending that, we have about 10 seats left at the time of this recording, which is Thursday, June 29th. And we are making an incredible time for you guys, both like luxury,
You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids. It's going to be so great. We've got great entertainment lined up. We've got great educational classes lined up. We're not going to pack it full. So you're going to be there like all day. It's going to be morning till about 3 o'clock. And we're just going to have a really good time. So make sure you check that out. You can find that information also at garagedoorU.com/summit. We also took the time to generate like industry events. July is going to be a busy one. It's one of our busiest months in the industry. So July 13th and 14th, you also have, well, you got new door sales training here. 24th, you have commercial sectional modification training with Mount on site. You also have on the 25th, introductory commercial operator training with David Mount. 26th, introductory to rolling steel training with David Mount, and 27th, rolling steel fire door, rolling steel training at David Mounts. So make sure you check those out. Those sell out fast, so I don't know if they're still available. Just make sure you check them and see. But we've got links on Garage Door U to some of the stuff and information about all the things coming up. August, we got residential sales training, and that's really the only thing in August that I saw. But September's pretty busy with a couple different shows. You got WASA trade show in Las Vegas, a couple trainings, and obviously GDU Summit. DASMA has a fall technical forum in Denver, which I'm not even really sure what that is, but just want to keep you guys in the loop of like events and things going on in the industry. That's all I can think of. Tamara, you got anything?
Well, I just want to say also that I'm super proud of you because I saw when you were in Costa Rica that you were hitting the gym. Well, yeah, and you're looking fabulous.
It's an easy. Thank you. As are you, by the way. Like, you kind of inspired me. I think the combination, no, I'm dead serious. Like the combination of being on a Zoom call for most of the days with, Tamara, and her guns are bigger than mine. It was a little embarrassing. So that sucked. We also have my buddy Todd Price, who's going to be speaking at Summit. Like he's been training and posting a lot of his like workout stuff, and just he's really passionate about it. Matter of fact, congratulations to Todd Price, who's been on the show before. He runs a $50 million roofing company, and he just won a
bodybuilding
competition,
which is no joke.
No joke, man. When I don't know, it feels weird that I click on a picture and like zoom in when a man's in his underwear, but this dude has muscles like places I've never seen before. And I'm just like in admiration that, a dude close to my age, he's a little younger than me, is in that great of shape. Like, holy freaking cow. But he's dedicated. He's committed, and he's even started like a fitness clothing line. But I mean, honestly, I feel like for me, I put off my health so much. I had just posted something not too long ago about this. Like I always made excuses about why I couldn't go to the gym or work out and do healthy stuff. And I was always good at like encouraging other people to do it, but I didn't even do it myself, And so I've gotten to the point where, I'm on blood pressure medicine, I'm overweight and foggy brain, and stress was beating me down. And now like, I just feel like I've got better capacity. I feel stronger. My heart's better. As a matter of fact, I was at the gym yesterday. And it sucked because I couldn't even finish my hip. Something happened with my hip, or the chiropractor, but, I toughed it out as long as I could. I made it like 40 minutes and I had to bounce. But I'm not good with like going to the gym and like working out myself, just because I don't really know what I'm doing for the most part. I mean, I do a little bit because I worked out a lot in high school and then as an early 20 something, but it's just not motivating to me. And so I signed up for Orange Theory, which is, I make jokes. It's like a bunch of ladies in there, and it's majority women, but there are some guys in there.
But I'll tell you what, like, it's fun. They're playing like cool music, and they got like treadmills, and they got a weight floor, and they got a row machine. And I love the row machine. Like, that thing's awesome. I don't love the treadmill that much, but I'm getting better about loving it. But one thing I noticed yesterday when I was running on the treadmill, minus all the pain in my hip, is I think I got my hips out. I think because I sat so much traveling,
Yeah.
because it was like a 4-hour flight, and then hour and a half, 2-hour drive to the airport. And it was just like we got home, went straight to bed. Anyway, it was just I think that caused my hip to lock up a little bit. But um I feel great. Like, I just feel good. And one thing I noticed is like I'm tracking my average heartbeat when I'm working out. And I remember the first day I went, and I was watching my heart rate, and it was like I was doing half of what everybody else was doing, and my
Mhm.
heart rate was through the freaking roof.
Yep.
Like, I felt like death. I was like, "Oh my god, how is this even possible? How did I wait to get to this point?" And I wanted to quit. Like, I really
Yeah.
genuinely just wanted to get out. And I stuck with it. And now, like, you and I were talking about doing 2 miles in 24 minutes or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
yesterday, I was trying to keep track of what I was doing in my heart rate. And I did I did my first mile in like 13 minutes
Mhm.
yesterday, and I may have pushed a little hard just because I was trying to hit that 12 because you had mentioned that.
I know. I
Eh,
won't tell you what I got so you don't feel bad.
yeah, I'm sure you kicked my butt. But, I was checking my heart rate, and it was lower than usual, and it
Mhm.
felt really weird, and I was like, this is crazy." So I went back and started looking, and every week my heart rate is lowering, but I'm pushing
Improving. Yeah.
harder.
Yeah.
And I believe that's a sign of, like, just a more healthy heart.
Yeah.
And, I just don't wanna be that guy that, like, can't hang out with my grandkids and, whatever, just because I put work ahead of everything else. And, it's all about prioritizing. And I know there's a certain amount of sacrifice, but what I would challenge you guys to do, especially you guys in the truck still, like, man, just, Sunday night, use that night to do like food prep, and, pack some good food and eat good. Don't be stopping at Wendy's and McDonald's and Burger King all the time. I know how hard it is being in a truck eating healthy, but you can make it work. Like, if you really strategize. And then, like, there's no good time for me to go to the gym. I mean, the evenings are for my family, and the days are for work. And, lunch, I try to relax and just unplug. And so I'm going at 6:15 in the morning, and
Mhm.
my goal is to get to that 5 o'clock workout, so that I
Yeah.
got a bit more time in the morning. Because normally it is eating into my work time a little bit, because I use that morning usually to do
Prep
some
work. Yeah, I'm the same way.
more in a shorter amount of time. Um, so yeah, I feel good. I feel energized. I'm a lot more clear. So I just encourage you guys, anybody listening, to just make a plan and stick to it. I mean, there's days where I walk into the gym and I tell the girl at the front desk, I'm like, "Look, I'm just here today." Like,
That's the biggest thing though, right? The biggest thing, the hardest part of it is just getting there,
right,
especially if you're doing something. And I'm not going to get on a soapbox about group fitness or anything, but that's how it sounds like that's what motivates you. And that's also what's been motivating me lately, because when you get in a group of people, when you walk through the door, like that's the hardest part. And then you're going along with everyone else. It's so much easier to just follow along and not have to think about what you're doing. And have fun with friends. Like, I'm here virtually. I don't like physically speak to anyone throughout the day, and being around a group of like 20 other people that are my age and suffering just as much as I am.
yep,
It's so much fun. And it's just like a release. And it really helps me function better at my job, just getting that working your body and having a healthy heart and being able to still have energy at the end of the day to spend time with your family. So I'm
yeah.
proud of you, friend.
Thank you. I'm proud of you too. You've come a long way. Your before and after pictures are phenomenal.
It's a big difference.
mean, like, for those of you guys who don't see Tamara on video because we post on YouTube, like, she's got guns, y'all. She will whoop your tail.
I do have guns.
And she's doing you're doing CrossFit, right?
I do Crossfit. I do. I do CrossFit, and then I do another type of class at the same gym called Pump and Burn, which I've been loving a lot lately. It's 30 minutes of just weights and then 30 minutes of just cardio. And it is
Pump and Burn before, but it wasn't good.
It's fun. I love the challenge.
No, mine was totally not a workout. It was something else.
Oh.
So anyway, thank you guys for allowing us to pour into you on a weekly basis. And I really appreciate the fact that you guys apply stuff. I hear so much from people. Like, matter of fact, I want to give a shout out to Daniel from Pacific.
I love him.
And he's got this whole place talking about how much the whole place loves him. Everybody, him and his sister, who's out in Italy. They're in Costa Rica. They happen to schedule a meeting with me like the week prior to me going to Costa Rica. So we got to talk about that. He started his own business, and he's just hungry. Like, it's hard to find humble people in the garage door industry sometimes. And he's like the epitome of someone that you just can't help but to cheer on and be great. So I'm super excited about his future, and just want to give him a shout out because what a wonderful dude. Like, him and his sister both. She's not a wonderful dude. She's just a wonderful person.
She is.
Chica. I guess, is that how you say it? Chica.
Yeah.
Anyway, so on to the important part. I'm going to share with you guys today. I got to spend 4 hours with John Maxwell. I'm going to allow Tamara to expand or comment or ask questions if something doesn't make sense and she wants to interject. But I'm going to go through some of the things. And listen, you may have already seen this in one of the Facebook groups because I did like a live in there. But listen, just take a second and hear this again if you have. If you haven't, some of this stuff is life-changing. I don't know if you know who John Maxwell is, but he's the author of 88 books, and I believe almost half of those are bestsellers internationally, not just here in the U.S. He is the leadership god. He defined developmental leadership prior to him coming on the scene. Almost everybody back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, early 90s thought leadership was something you were born with or not. He actually defined leadership as a developmental skill that you could learn, and he wrote books on it. And I'm honored to have had an opportunity to spend 4 hours with him in Costa Rica, where he literally just hit bullet point after bullet point. And it's hard for me to sit in a chair for a long period of time, but I did not have a hard time at that point. Like, it was great. So I'm going to dive into some of this and just hit these bullet points for you guys. It's gonna be short and sweet. We'll keep it quick. Principles of success. Number 1, live an intentional life. I think we all know what that looks like. But I think the key to intentional is preparation. So kind of planning for the future and being intentional about it and being present, being intentional about being present, being prepared to be present. Number 2, grow personally every day. So every day you should make it your mission to improve as a human being, as a person, as a business owner, as an employee, as a father, a husband, brother, sister. So he said, learn and ask questions and don't talk so much. Number 3, he's so blunt. I love the way he does it. Embrace and practice good values. And I think this is something that a lot of guys in the garage door industry probably do pretty well. Is most of the guys in the garage door industry are like just down to earth, good people, and they do embrace good values. So kudos to you guys. But that's number 3. Number 4, find and fulfill your purpose in life. And I think that this requires a little bit of time alone.
Mhm.
Just seeking not surface level fulfillment, but like genuinely what makes you fulfilled in life? What's your purpose? You don't figure that out in 15 minutes with a notepad. I think you really have to take a deep dive. It's a journey that I think you go on. Uh,
Requires some introspection.
exactly. And so I would recommend you guys block off some time alone to do that. Um, Another way of fulfilling that or figuring that out, I don't know if you guys have ever been on a fast before, but I've done a lot of spiritual fast, and a lot of times I'll go out to the mountains and get a cabin all by myself, and I'll fast food and not fast food, but I will go without food for like 2 or 3 days and just drink water. And the perspective that you get during that period of time, clarity becomes so easy. And so, just a thought there, something that you could consider. Let's see, that was number 5 is develop good people skills. We could all get better at that, including myself. And that just means like, how do you interact with people? How do people perceive you? And remember, we're talking about principles of success. In order to be successful, people need to perceive you as successful. They need to perceive you as knowledgeable. They need to perceive you as someone with good practices, good values, and a purpose in life. And so number 6, success cycles. He said that you want to implement these success cycles in your life. One of and there's 5 of these, so I'm going to cover those 5, and we'll get back to number 7 here in just a second. But the success cycle is testing, fail, learn, improve, and re-enter the testing phase.
I love that.
Man, it's so good.
Consistency in everything, including price, reliability, quality, not just quality, but great quality control. These are things that describe Somer USA. Somer's not some startup company, not one that you need to be worried about going out of business in the near future. Somer and their family of businesses are $200 million companies. They're in over 100 countries, and they have locations in 20 countries. This is a large organization who stands behind their product and works through integrity. And there's not another company out there willing to drop what they're doing and help you out like Somer. These guys are awesome. Not only have they been loyal to the Torsion Talk podcast, they've been loyal to the technicians and the owners of the companies who install their product. In my opinion, if you're not at least offering Somer as an additional option, you're cheating yourself. Listen, first-time dealers, I've got a special for you. If you buy 10 or more Somers, while supplies last, we will offer you free shipping. You have no more excuses. The prices are great. The product is amazing. Go check out Somer USA and order 10 for free shipping.
And when you look at this, he spent a lot of time talking about failure and how failure is a good thing because it molds what's real and what's right in the world. And he was like, if you're not failing, you're not pushing boundaries, you're not trying hard enough. And we all take pride in winning a lot. But, and there's a question that I'm going to ask you guys here shortly, I think really puts that in perspective. So, number 7, write your own definition of success. Tamara, what's yours?
Oh, way to put me on the spot.
Good.
I don't know. I feel like success to me is it. I don't know, Ryan.
I can tell you what I think your success is.
Okay, tell me.
Feeling financially stable is
Oh,
important.
yes, that's a big one. Yeah.
I think having someone to love is important to you, whether that
Yeah.
be there or, I don't know what y'all are, boyfriend, girlfriend,
No, he's my husband.
husband. And then you also, I think, want to give the best life for Bear. Like, I think that's super important to you, to be able
Yeah.
to get experiences in life.
I guess that's it. My definition of success would be to be able to spend as much time as possible with my son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. For me, it's freedom. I want to be able to give freely. I want to be able to spend freely. I want to be able to uh, live freely with my time. I spent almost all of my life working off a calendar that's full every day, or being a salesperson where I'm like out running around like crazy. So I think definition of success, which is what I put all that work into, is to provide me with a little bit of freedom. So number 8, find and follow the power of 5. So here's 5 things, and this is still part of the principles of success. Number 8 is know what you want to accomplish. That's number 1. Number 2 is have the right tool. 3 is take action. 4 is stay focused. And 5 is be consistent. So much I can say about consistency, and we will say more about that John Maxwell shared. But he said, he gave an analogy of like, let's imagine that it's freezing cold outside. It's like 10 degrees below zero, and you need firewood. He said, you definitely can't go out there and chop a tree for 12 hours, right? So he said the best way to do it would be to go out and chop it 5 times and come back in, get warm, go back out, chop it 5 times, whatever. So you don't freeze to death. So he gave the analogy of like, you could do that, or you could go out and chop all the trees 5 times, or you could go out there and chop one tree until you die because it's too cold or whatever. He said, but if you just focus on doing the same thing consistently over and over and over again, you almost always get better results than you do if you try to knock it all at once, or you try to spread yourself too thin.
That's huge.
That was freaking crazy.
And it's so true.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes like I need to apply that to my task list for the day. Like I always try to put everything in my task list for the
On
day.
one.
You just
Mhm.
create like this mental, like,
Overwhelm.
yeah, and then you get frustrated and defeated because you can't complete anything. So just keeping it simple and like creating a list that's reasonable and understanding that, hey, does this need to be done today? And then scheduling it out. All right.
Yep.
Here's some quotes that he gave. I'm going to zoom through these. These are freaking great, though. Dreams are free. The journey isn't. So good. Our work has to be stored up before it shows up. People get success and the celebration of success mixed up. So
Mhm.
if you go out and you buy a nice car, that's not success. Success is what allowed you to get the car.
Right.
But many people view buying the car as a success. Make a difference with people who want to make a difference. That was something that he said he wanted to do. And that was an iteration, like 2 iterations of that. He said when he first started, he said, I just want to make a difference. And then he realized that he couldn't make as big a difference without other people. So he said, I want to make a difference with other people. And then he said, I want to make a difference with other people who want to make a difference, because he realized that not everybody wants to make a difference. And so he tried to align himself with people who wanted to make a difference. And he said that changed everything for him. He said, number 1, it was all about him. Number 2, he made it about others. And number 3, he defined that it was more about finding the right people to do it with than just anybody.
Yeah.
He's so freaking wise. Celebrate your wins and mourn your losses for 24 hours and then get back to work. He said that it's important to celebrate those things. Like you should do it. Or if you have big losses, get mental clarity, because your emotional state is going to put you in an area where you're going to want to make bad decisions during that time period. He said, mourn, do whatever you got to do, like get it out of your system and then just move forward, put it behind you, because it's out of your control at that point.
Yep.
Your business will be as good as its leadership. If your team is a 5, you'll never pass a 4. My
Cool.
God. Yep. So my team's going to suffer. Just kidding.
Shut up.
I'm trying to get better. This is like when I was there, the biggest takeaway that I had was
he exposed so many gaps in my leadership, and now I've got a roadmap, so I'm working on it. It's going to be good.
Yeah, you're in the success cycle.
That's right. I am. Growth is not automatic. You automatically get older, but you don't automatically grow. Which, if you just think about that for a second, that's really good. Yeah. And then his next comment was, you have to grow on purpose,
Mhm.
accidentally.
Yep, it works.
All right, a growth environment. This is an environment where you yourself will grow. You're going to surround yourself where others are ahead of you, where you're continually challenged, and your focus is always forward. And then let's see here. He was challenging us to surround ourselves with 5 super successful people and spend time with them, ask them to lunch, whatever it takes to get time with them. And he said, when you do get their time, ask them these 7 questions. These 7 questions might be familiar to Tamara because I believe she heard them yesterday or the day before. What's the most important lesson you've learned in life? Number 1. Number 2, how has failure shaped your life? Number 3, what are you learning right now? Number 4, what have you read I should read and why? Number 5, what have you experienced I should go experience? Number 6, who do you know that I should know? Which I think is way underrated. Number 7, how can I serve you? And then he said, try to have a learning lunch every month with at least one person that would be in your 5 super successful people. If you can keep them the same, great. If not, he said, just go find more successful people. He was saying that you need to have all your leaders read the Leader Within You 2.0. So I bought that. I bought 13 copies. You got one, Tamara. Faith got one. And then we bought 8 more because I'm going to tell you what we're doing. Leaders see more than others do before they do it. So what he's saying here is that the definition of a leader, his definition of a leader, is someone who sees more than others do before others do. So you can't really lead people if your vision or if you only see what everyone else sees, which is freaking awesome, right? Which is why we need visionaries in the world. But he's saying that if you can see more than others see, deeper, wider, further out, and before they do, then you can coach them, assist them, and get them to where they need to be. It's not always who does it faster, it's who does it first. He said that's a lesson that he's learned, especially in this world of technology and the growth. Consistency beats intensity. He's really big on consistency, and just like staying consistent all the time in every area of your life. Just be consistent. Find 3 people who will tell you about your blind spots. He was talking about what areas in your life do you have blind spots? Blind spots are areas in your leadership that you can't see, that you don't even know how to improve on. And so right now I've just got Stephanie because I know she's willing to punch me in the face with the truth. So I got to find some other people. Tamara, can I put you down?
Yes,
Will you tell me the truth?
I will.
Awesome. All right. So I got you and Stephanie, my wife. All right. Develop 4 leaders within your business using this method. This is what I was talking about earlier. This is what I'm implementing right now within my team. So number 1, I do it. Me, Ryan Lucia, I do it. Number 2, I do it. They are with me. Number 3, they do it. I'm with them. Number 4, they do it. Number 5, they do it with someone else. So what he's talking about is training up leaders. So the first thing is, I do it, which I've done just about every job in here. And then I do it and they're with me. And I would say I've done a pretty decent job of that to a degree.
Um, and then for the most part, I do like when I teach something, I like to have them do it and I'm with them. And then I cut them loose and I say, you got it. Go get them, Tiger. But what he was talking about was that's the majority of leaders. And then we stop there. But there's a critical component, which I was taught this years ago, but it just, I didn't really apply it to every area of my life. And he said the most important part, which is the most forgotten or the one that most people don't do, is they have the people that you train go help someone else. Go train someone else.
Mhm.
Do it with someone else. Because when you know something, you can train it. And when you train it, you know it better. So
Exactly.
you got to teach it to someone else. You're going to know it better. It almost shifts from like your subconscious to your conscious. And I think that that's freaking powerful.
Mhm.
So super excited about that. We're going to, and that the biggest challenge that I have in my leadership gaps, my blind spots right now that I'm aware of is consistency and this part right here. Like I just trust everybody's going to do the job exactly as I would, and they're going to knock it out of the park. And I cut them loose, I train them a little bit, and like I don't ever really go back to it for the most part. um and so like a lot of the training that we do we outsource, and so I put Josh through like a leadership program
Mhm.
about a year and a half ago, and he crushed it, did a really good job, graduated from that. But I haven't done any leadership development with him since he's gotten out of that. Shame on me, right? Like, I mean, where's the consistency? Where are we getting better? So I just got to like constantly work on getting better. I know we put a lot of emphasis on our service professionals, sending them to David Mount, doing all that, but we're just missing the mark on consistency. It's my fault. Um, Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn, which I thought was a great quote. Get
Mhm.
over myself daily. He said one thing that helped him in his career was he got over himself daily. It's humbling, it keeps you modest and just on point. And he gave an acronym for CLEAR. He said communicate well, leadership, equipping, attitude development, and relationships. And he says he tries to live by that. CLEAR, and it's easy to remember. Change your mindset from being a garage door company to now you're a leadership training business. Could you imagine if we all shifted our thought process to, okay, we got a garage door company and we install garage doors, but we're going to spend 20% of our time focusing on personal and leadership development within our organization? Whoa.
I know.
Like, could you imagine how good of a company you'd have in 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, that would be fantastic. And how how good for the culture to have the employees being poured into like that. Like that really, I can see that being huge.
Yeah. People do what people see. And this is what he was talking about. This hit me like a ton of freaking bricks. Um, there's so many things that like I ask, or I'll say, hey, can you do this or whatever, and I never get follow up, and I get so, it's like one of my pet peeves. I get so frustrated. And when he said that, I was like, man, like
That's one of the most frustrating things is like I have to follow up on stuff to ask for. And then I realized I was like, but I don't respond back
a lot of times when people ask me for stuff, or I'm late responding or whatever. Like I'm basically creating who I am, and people are doing what they see me do, not what I'm asking of them. And so I think that's poor leadership to a degree. And if I get better at it, I think my team will as well. We teach what we know, but we reproduce who we are, as was his comment. And that just like, that was like the dagger in my gut. That was like,
You don't want a whole bunch of Ryans running around?
absolutely not. Share thinking and sustain thinking. He said just research those, and I think I got those right. Share thinking and sustain thinking. I have not had time to research those. I did look them up, and I wasn't able to find anything, I think, on share thinking, but there's a lot of information online on sustain thinking. A lot of good ideas add up to great ideas. This was something he talked about. Like a lot of leaderships come with an idea and they're like, oh, we're going to do this. And then they just start implementing. But he said, we do have good ideas, and sometimes we got to be very careful to protect those ideas. So not everybody's going to see it as a good idea, and it may be a great idea. But he said, what's awesome is if you have really intelligent people, like the 5 people that you surround yourself with, that are great leaders already, or at where you're trying to go. He said, share your good ideas. And he said, I bet they turn around and make them great ideas. He said, because once you add something, even your team can say, hey, that sounds good, but what if we did it this way? Or what if we did that and this? And you're like, man, I didn't even think of that. Now that good idea is even better. But if you get 4 or 5 people chipping in and making the good idea great, that's a win for everybody.
Yeah.
What would you do if you knew you'd fail, but it would make your company stronger? Would you proceed? That's a tough question. I think without a shadow of a doubt, I would proceed. I would want to know how bad the fail would be. So just for me, I'm like, all right, calculated risk are good. But if I know I'm going to fail, like how bad am I failing here? So he said, read Failing Forward. It was a book. And then he said, being responsible for properly preparing your people is having upfront expectations. Being responsible for properly preparing your people is upfront expectations. Keep failure and success together. Humbleness and hunger are 2 characteristics of a great leader. Read 16 Laws of Communication. Understand the difference between a good miss and a bad miss. And he was giving the analogy of how the guy was walking down the sidewalk and fell in a hole. And the hole was so deep and he didn't see it, they couldn't get out. And it took him like 4 hours. But when he fell in the hole, he was like, man, this hole, I did not see it. Why is there a hole in the sidewalk? And he's complaining and he's talking about how miserable it is and how it's going to take him forever to get out and nobody's around to help him. And so he felt very defeated. So the next day, he's walking down the same sidewalk, happens to see the hole, but still falls in. And he's like, dang it, man, what the heck? He's like, I knew this was here yesterday. Like, why am I still falling in? So the next day he's going down the sidewalk and he sees it, but he tries to go around it, but still falls in. And he realizes, man, this is not good. So the 4th day, he goes down a different sidewalk and avoids the hole altogether. He said, this is the difference between a good miss and a bad miss. The guy walked down the sidewalk and each day learned something positive that led him down the path of a different sidewalk. And I was like, man, such a simple like story, but so profound. So I really like that. He said, people who give excuses, show them, then tell them to go get it. And if they don't learn that, then get rid of them. He was very blunt about his approach, and he has very little tolerance for excuses. And he also said that once people show characteristics of not being able to evolve, he said the best thing you can do is like just cut them loose. Like, because if you're going to create a culture of growth and leadership and evolution, then everyone on your team needs to be bought into that culture. And if they're not, then you need to start looking for replacements, which I thought was like, dang, that's freaking crazy. He said, you have to embrace the hard, which we all know. Anticipate failure with preparation. Ask yourself what could go wrong. And he said, during failure, always keep moving, keep adjusting, and keep believing. Don't get defeated. And then develop a process to receive a return on your failure. He said, all too often, and I'm going to give an example of something that I think we do really well that I learned in software, is when something goes wrong at Aaron Overhead Doors, or we get a bad review, we pull everybody involved, the person that answered the phone, the project manager, the account manager, the salesperson, installer. We pull them all into the conference room and we're like, all right, let's walk through this. And we start, and then we go through the entire process. All right, you answer the phone. How did it go? And that person's job is to be prepared. Like, go back and listen to the call, make sure it was good, listen to all the calls. And then we find the gap. We always find where we messed up when we do that. And then we're like, does everybody see it? They're like, yes. And I'm like, okay, are we good? Can we fix it? Do we have a process? Did we not follow a process? Do we need to add a process? And then whatever we figure out in there, we put somebody responsible for making sure that that gets fixed. And then we move on. And that's a 15-minute meeting, but it helps everyone evolve and get better. And we find out where our weak spots are, or our weak people in some cases. Yeah. So just thought that was really good. And that's it. Like, that's all of my notes that I had takeaways from John Maxwell. But 4 hours, I took all those notes. There was so much more that he said, but there were some points where I just had to sit back in my chair and just listen because it was so good. But these gave me plenty of takeaways. And the thing that I'm doing right now is that I'm going back to, I'm trying to create 4 hardcore leaders in each of my businesses. And so we're going to combine those. I bought the books. We're going to go through the book together. I'm looking for ideas on leadership training online, chat GPT, everything, things that we can do together, maybe go to conferences or whatever for leadership. Like, I really want to pour into my leadership, and then I want them to pour into my people. So that is where we're focused right now, and that's where we're headed. And I'm super excited about the future of Aaron Overhead Doors and such, and GDU and Torsion Talk. And so for that, I'll say, I appreciate you guys following along. Make sure you check us out on Facebook. Anything you want to add there, Tamara?
I'm super excited, and that is a lot of info to process. So it's a lot. I'm going to be taking extensive show notes.
Yeah. So listen, thank you guys for following along. Hopefully this was helpful for you and there was some nuggets that you could take away. If you want to chat, feel free to reach out to me. I'm easy to find: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, you name it. Hit me up. I hear from people all the time I'm not friends with on Facebook that ask me a question or whatever. Just send me a friend request. I'd love to connect with you. And if you have any questions, anything, don't forget GDU Summit. I really want you guys there. As many of you that can come, really appreciate it. Don't forget that the room, breakfast, and lunch is included into the price, so you don't have to pay for any of that. Give me a shout if you have any questions about the summit or the training or anything else. Thank you guys for following along. Stay safe. Be good.